Let me just record. Sorry. Thank God.
I had jumped from the screen to the tab. That's the label.
Oh, if you're already, let's say you have a file that's in a folder already, and then, okay, let me see if I could do it again. So if I do o2 server.js, hit save, it'll just save. So all I'm doing is like over here.
It just takes the first line and set the.
I just right click here, new file.
Right.
And then I just type in something and hit Command S and save it.
Okay.
And it saves it right in there.
Cool.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone online, feel free to unmute yourselves and ask questions. The reason why I'm on Zoom primarily is Panopto was giving issues to my students yesterday, so I got to figure out why. It could be my laptop as well. All right, so right here, I have a get route. So we'll do hello. And res.send. We'll do hola. All right, so let's go over what this code's doing, right? It's just one file. How many routes do I have here, Valerie? One route, right? One route right here, lines 8 through 10. So what is line 5 doing, Eli?
It's requiring the express module.
It's requiring the express module, which is what we need to make routes, right? And then over here, we're executing, it's like create application or something. It's a function inside the module. We're executing it. It gives us an object. That object we reference from this variable app right here. And then we put routes onto the app object. We put routes onto the app object. So module, this is the module. And this exports a function. This exports a function, which we reference right here. And then we execute that function. And that function returns an object. We reference that object right here, an app. And now we can put routes on that object. That app is essentially your application, your web app, your website. This object right here is your website. It's your website. So how would I access this route right here, Valerie? Or what http://localhost:/hello. But I'm missing one part right here, Patrick. 3000, right? 3000 because it's listening on port 3000 right here. So this file can only be ran on one port. That's it, right? You can't have multiple things on one port. Just like if you have an outlet, you can't plug in multiple machines into that one outlet unless you have like a surge protector thing. But not don't think about that.
Something which I've not understood. So like when they say it's running on port 3000, does that mean a port on your computer?
Yeah.
Is that like something inside the computer?
It's not like I don't know about the hardware side of things, right? But I know about the software. So you have a whole bunch of ports. The reason why we picked 3000 is that's empty. Nothing's using it, right? So that's why from 3000 and up, you'll see these web applications using these. For MySQL, what port is it? Do you guys remember? 3306, right? The reason why they picked that is because that one's like open, and they just picked it. No other reason. Yeah. All right, so let's go to this URL. Okay, so I want to start this up. So I'm going to use Nodamon. Nodamon will, if you don't have Nodamon, you can do sudo npm install nodamon-g, and you'll get Nodamon. This is for a Mac. For Windows, it's just npm install. Okay. So I'm going to do Nodamon And will this work, Patrick?
It should.
Should.
Yeah, I mean,
You sure? Did I miss any steps? Guys, Eli, did I miss anything?
did you activate node?
Well, I have Node. I have Node.
NPM install.
npm install. Right. So if I ran this right here, cannot find module express. Right. So I need to run npm install. Express. npm install. Oh, that's it. Okay, now I'll do nodemon 01 server.js, and it's going to run on port 3000. Right? It's running this file on port 3000. So now if we go on it, I don't see anything. What did I do wrong? Do you guys see what I did wrong? It's saying that it can't get this. Do you see what I did wrong? It's not working.
There, in the URL, you didn't do the /hello.
Exactly. So /hello, and then it works, right? So how would we get this route to work? What would we do here? Take out the hello, right? But let's say I want to keep the hello. I want the hello there, but I also want this page to come up with hello also.
Change the get map and make a different one.
Okay, let's make a different one. What would I do here?
Take out the hello, dash hello.
Let's put hello. Very cool. So now let's go over here. Now this works. And if we go to hello. Cool. So I'll just call this home route and hello route. Awesome. Okay, so now let's do some parameters. So over here, what I'll do is greeting / value, or I'll do user / ID right here. So if I want to access :ID, if I want to access :ID right here, right, what would I do? What would I put right here? If I want to get the value of this, I would do request rec dot params, excellent, ID, good, right? This value right here, perfect. So let's say the URL is this right here, right? /users /1. What's the value of ID value going to be here, Patrick? 1, good, perfect. And over here, what I'll say is the ID value just to see it. Okay, so now let's go over here to the browser and we'll go to /users/5. The ID value is 5. And let's say I say 3 or 500. What if I said dog? What's it gonna be, Patrick? If I say /users/dog.
I don't know. Would it be undefined? Is it requiring a number? Or is it just going to go for string?
ID value is dog. Yeah. It's so literally it's just taking whatever's there in the URL and then putting it right, then we're accessing right here, and then we're just sending it back to the user in the string. So that was one parameter, right? So let's write using params. And the reason why I call it params is because params right here. Nothing more. All right, so this is one parameter. What about multiple parameters? So let's say users/1/posts/2. Right, so let's say we want to get all the users user one's posts, right? Or we want to get, we'll do, trying to come up with a relevant example for you guys. Let's see. Users one /posts. Yeah, you know what? That actually makes sense, right? This is user one's third post. User one's third post. That makes sense. So over here, slash, and what would I put right after the slash if I wanted to make this URL right here? Let's go to Valerie and Eli. If I wanted to make this URL right here, what would I do right here? Colon, okay. Oh, /posts.
And then /colon, whatever.
I'll say post ID. I'll also call this one user ID right here. So this right here, see how users matches up over there? One matches up with this. See those two? And then posts matches up here. And then this 3 matches up with this right here. Okay, so now if we wanted to access these things, it's the same deal, right? Just like before. This is user ID value, and over here, it's post ID, right? User ID. Right, user ID right here, post ID right here. So if I change this to P_ID, what would I have to change? About Patrick.
Everything else that says post.
Not everything, but just what
Just post ID.
Post ID right here. So I have to change this to PID. Right, and so Valerie, if I change this to UID, what do I have to change now?
Change user ID.
Good, right here. Perfect. And we'll just do this as well. So the user value, user ID value is this. And the post ID value is, there we go. Okay, so now let's go to this. Go ahead, Valerie. You, yeah.
Why don't we change like on the URL, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the various parameters. Why don't we put a semicolon after the post one? I mean, on the post, like before post.
Oh, right here? Oh, because that's not a parameter. That word will always stay the same. That's a good question. So why don't we put a colon before posts? Because the word posts will always be there no matter what URL. Right? The reason why we put the word post there is for the user. So if someone's looking at this URL, it would make sense to them. If you just did users/1/3, it doesn't really make that much sense. Users/1/post/3 makes more sense because you're saying it's the third post, right? So the user can understand what that is.
So user ID, let's say the person is ID 5.
Matter of fact, if I look at a URL and it doesn't make sense to me, sometimes I don't click on it. I'm like, I don't I don't know what this is, so I don't want to click on it. Sometimes my friends send me garbage, and yeah. I had a friend that sent me spyware once. What the hell?
On purpose?
On purpose, yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm never gonna click on a link that you send me ever again.
Yeah.
As other time,
So the colon is really just there to indicate that it's a parameter.
exactly. The colon indicates that it's a parameter. The colon indicates that it's a parameter. Good. All right, so we just did one parameter, two parameters, right? You can imagine what three parameters looks like, or four parameters, right? Usually you probably won't go beyond 3 or 4. Probably 2 is the max you'll go. Maybe 3 or 4, probably the max. Any more, you're probably better off using query parameters or the body. Okay, so now we'll go over query parameters. Okay, so slash users. So over here, instead of that, what I'll call this is search, right? Or maybe not search, or I'm trying to think. Yes, search. That's fine. And so that's it. That's all I'll put. And if I go to this URL right here, slash what to get to this route? Search. Good. And I'm also going to put on some query parameters at the end of this URL. Now this is what indicates a query parameter, this question mark right here. And it is important to understand this because when you make your forms get, which is the default method for all your forms, it's going to submit all the data like this. It'll submit all the data like this. So let's say I have search, and let's say Q equals cats, right? Q equals cats, and the date, let's say date start, or let's say year start is 2015. And let's say media type video. So now let's grab these parameters out, right? So I'll take in var Q, var year start, and we'll do one more. Media type, and I'll just do, just so there's no confusion about what's linked up to what. So over here, I'm going to do rec dot query, I think, and this is going to be Q. This is going to be your start, and this is going to be media type. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send back all the values. Right here. So anything after the question mark, right, this right here is a query parameter. The value of Q is what? Cats, right? Now this is a query parameter. After this is the question mark's only for the first one. After that, if you want one more query parameter, it has to be an ampersand. And that separates this query parameter from this query parameter right here. So this one, what's the value of this one, Valerie?
2015.
You have 2015, good. And then we have another one, media type, right? And what's the value of that one? Video, right? Good. So let me write that down right here just so we know. Cats, 2015, and then video. Okay. Now let's try this query out. So let me comment this out, and we'll go to this URL. And man, he should be a rock star. I can hear him from here. He can just project. Or like or DJ. Either one.
Any order.
Anything where you need to command attention, but cats 2015 video, right? And if I change any of these values, so dogs 2015, if I change the year start, 2019, MP3, right? So when we can keep adding on stuff, but we're now going to print it out. I'll do another example where it could take in anything. res.json, rec.query, and I'll call this anything. And we'll do the same URL for this. When I go to this URL, right here, what's going to pop up? A JSON object, and what's going to, how many keys are going to be inside of it?
3.
3 keys. Why 3 keys, Valerie?
Because we have three parameters.
3 query parameters. Perfect. Right. Exactly. So let's go to this URL. Good. Right. We see an object right here. 1, 2, 3 keys. Right. This was rec.query. This is rec.query. So if I do, let's say I add on something, and let's say comment count greater than 40. It adds in another key value pair, right? All I have to do is add an ampersand, put the query parameter in, and set it equal to a number or a value or anything, right? And it'll display it right here. Yes.
Is that the difference? Is that the main difference between a query parameter and like just a regular parameter?
Irregular parameters are more hard coded in.
Yeah.
They're very predictable. And then query parameters, they're not really that predictable, right? Because maybe you want to add 5, maybe there's 100 things, right? And you don't know what order they're going to come in. You don't want to worry about the order either, right? Just because the order is different, you don't want the user to get a 404. So this is a perfect example right here. This is what Google does for their search. So their search form, you could, when you search on Google, so right here, you see ampersand Q equals cats. See that? And then they have a bunch of other, they have BTNK. I don't know what these things are exactly. They have source, EI. I'm not sure what these query parameters are, but they're using them. There's even more. Yeah, they have a bunch. I don't know what they're doing really, but you see Q equals cats before, right? Yeah. This right here, Q equals cats.
So how is it that the res.json?
Oh wow, that was amazing. 2 San Jose cats live without humans in a $1,500 a month studio apartment. That's amazing. Oh, I guess they're Instagram cats, so you can't really compare yourself to them. Yeah, they're. It's like us comparing ourselves to like a celebrity or something, right? They're Instagram cats. Yeah. So what were you saying, Patrick?
Oh, with the res.json, how it's sending the JSON object without doing the res.send.
Res.send takes a string. Res.json takes an object.
Okay.
That's right.
But as far as returning it onto the page.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. It's not formatted for me because I don't have the JSON view plugin. I haven't installed that.
Yeah.
Res.send.
But I mean, even just displaying the object in its object form, like it doesn't. Does the res.json include sending that
Yeah, it's sending the object, and when you read that with an AJAX query, right, or with the request npm package, you'll get that object. Yeah. Whereas here you're gonna get a string for res.send. All right, so I'm gonna send this over to you guys. We'll do an activity, and then we'll do body parser. So let me rename this actually to params query review. All right, go ahead, download it, put it into a folder, npm install, and if you guys can just go over it with each other, I'll give an activity out on this. We'll move a little fast today because we don't have class on Saturday. No. MLK on Monday. We don't have class today. It's Saturday and Monday. Yeah, but you guys have to work still, right? I mean, well, I mean, not if you're celebrating, but I mean, I don't know if you celebrate.
Yeah, I celebrate that.
What's going on Saturday?
Well, no, it's MLK weekend. It's MLK's Monday, so yeah. Oh, I wonder if the memorial is going to have anything special. The MLK memorial over here.
I don't know.
It's on Third. It's near Third and Mission. Third and Mission. There's a park over there.
Like the year before that.
Yeah, it's not exact. Yeah, around there. Yeah, it's around. You know where Target is, or the movie AMC, the Lowe's or whatever. Yeah, it's around that area. It's actually super nice. And then some of the quotes MLK had sounded kind of alien. It's kind of wild. So that makes you think. Yeah. MLK was an alien. I'm just kidding. That's why he was so peaceful. He was so unlike everyone. Val, let me know when you have it set up on your computer. Got it? Good. I keep going over it. We'll go over it so I'll give you guys 4 minutes to play around with it. Patrick, Eli, do you guys have it running?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? Okay, Patrick, give me a thumbs up when you have it.
What does the dash save do for npm install express?
That was a bad habit of mine from the previous NPM. Because before, if you did npm install express, it wouldn't save into the node modules folder. Oh well, it it wouldn't save the version into package.json, but now it does. Yeah. And I forgot, here, guys, I forgot to do this. Before npm install express, what do I have to do? npm init, and then you can do -y to skip all the questions, right? So that makes me a package.json file like this. And the package.json file looks like this. Val, it looks like this. When I do npm init -y, it looks like this. And then you do npm install express. And then it puts that dependency in right here. And then you want to get into the habit of getting rid of that thing, because it's going to keep upgrading up. So it's going to just keep upgrading to the latest version. So if you want it to stick on this version, so that way your team's all on the same version. For this, it won't matter, but I mean, it's a good habit to have. All right, so and keep going over it. Patrick, do you have it? No? Here, let me help.
Trying to navigate to it. So I just realized I didn't change directories.
I see.
So I think just straight into my downloads.
So this will search all the file names with this word. And then
And why don't you do it?
oh, you can move it to where you normally code. I watched the AFC Championship game, the old one with Pat. Was it the Patriots and Jaguars?
Yeah, it was last year's.
Yeah, and I was looking at this, a lot of the calls. They were bad. They were really bad. Huh? Yeah, the refing was really bad against the Jags. It was really bad.
It was the Miles Jack, the defender on Jacksonville, middle linebacker.
That was crazy because he was
recovered a fumble or something.
Mhm.
I don't really remember.
No, he got a fumble and he was running it back and they stopped him.
Yeah.
It's like, and no one, he didn't touch anyone. He should have that would have been a touchdown. That was one, and the other one was a holding call that resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah.
By halftime, and the receiver pushed him, right? Was pushing him, and then that's when he started holding him, right?
Yeah.
And they called holding on him, and that shouldn't have been the case. If the receiver is making contact, I think it's okay for the defensive D-back to make contact.
Yeah. I mean,
And it seems like very rigged.
I was gonna say, if ever a fix was gonna be in for a game, it would be against the Jacksonville Jaguars, because the NFL knows it's not gonna bring them up. You know.
Oh, you think that's what it is? Yeah.
I don't know. Anytime I feel like a game is fixed, they're gonna move it because there's. Yeah, the Jaguars played a whole second half.
They were amazing. They played so well.
They played really well in the first.
And then
half, they just stopped letting Blake Bortles throw the ball. You know, Blake Bortles sucks, but you can't play not to lose. That was the big takeaway.
Do you think Blake Bortles sucks, or do you think they just don't have any playmakers?
All of it. Both.
I think both. Yeah. Do you watch The Good Place? It's so fun, dude. It's a show, and there's a guy on there who's this huge Jacksonville Jaguars fan, and he always talks about Blake Bortles constantly.
How many seasons of that is that?
I think there's like it's still going. Yeah, it's going. It's a really good show. It's well made. Because I thought it was going to be the same boring stuff, right? They're in heaven, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, is this a show of Ted Danson?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see myself getting into that.
Okay. Here's the next activity. Here's the activity. Chris, that's weird. When is MLK Day? No, we don't have
So
class.
does that mean we don't have class on Monday? Maybe?
I think we don't have class Saturday. We don't have class Saturday and Monday, right? Just making sure. Because I don't want to tell you guys, and then you guys all don't show up.
Hey, to be fair, I was in class on Saturday. No, class.
Yeah, it is true. It is project
I
day.
think it was me and Chris. That's it.
All right, guys, I gave you an activity. So, Patrick, do you want to read the first part?
Rams activity. Copy this array into your code. Make a route that takes a number and returns that index in the cat array.
Right. So returns that cat in the cat's array. So if the URL was zero, had 0 in it, it would send back Sylvester. Right. If it was 1, which cat?
Oh, Bobby.
Bobby. 2, Fred. Right. The URL, if it has the number 2 in it, it's going to send back Fred. Over here, go ahead. Val, read this. Mm-hmm.
Query the params activity.
Mhm.
Make a route that sends back request that query the dog.
Mhm.
Write a URL that would send back the dog's name of Rover.
Yeah. So it sounds a little confusing, but you're basically just making a route. You're sending back rec.query.dog, right? Sending back rec.query.dog. And then in the browser, type a URL so that the value that gets sent back is Rover. Right? Right. So it shouldn't, this is going to be significantly less code than this. You're just sending back rec.query.dog. You're just sending back rec.query.dog. That's it. And then you're just writing the URL to give you Rover. All right.
You're going to print Rover
On your page.
your page.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Go ahead, try this. And we'll go over it in 10 minutes. And then we'll go over rec.body and then go over forms. Guys, about 8 more minutes. Shouldn't be that bad. You can copy and paste from the previous activity. Just check your screens in 3 minutes. What's up?
Make sure I did the second part, right?
Perfect. Perfect. Good job. Pictures. Too much code, man. Way too much code. Yeah. Let me just go. Let me go comment that out. Control question. There we go. And then there's that send. And not just ID value, but use those ID values together to give you the cat name. So write cat names right there. Great job. Looks like more. Okay. Yeah, but this looks like Yeah, you want to do that. And then probably maybe this is a string. Maybe it's not maybe that one. It's one of those. But for
So the dotted route didn't run either. I'm wondering if there's something wrong.
Nice. Indeed.
Okay, but doing diagonal, do I need to
Yeah,
do
you're
this?
oh yeah. Anytime you change it, you have to rerun it. Unless you use no.
Okay.
So I would use no. I thought I did.
Then-
Ah, yeah, you have to do node mon space define.
Okay.
And you want to install node mon for you. Over here, let me try this. Sudo install mon. Or you put your password in.
Oh, for the computer. Okay.
Install that, and then do node space define. Just give you guys one more minute. About a minute less. And then we'll go over body parser, have a cursor activity. And then do a form example. "30 seconds. Is Starbucks open right now? Or is it Huh? That's an old one. Go microwaving it.
I think they're kind of like that.
Hmm.
Like 8 or 9.
Cool. Main Street and Main and what's that?
One over there.
Yeah. San
Maybe
Francisco.
it's Massachusetts.
Main.
Here.
4 a.m. Who goes to Starbucks at 4 a.m.? It's insane. Near 120 hair salon. That's the hair salon next door. I say 160 Spear Street. I just can't believe how things close so early. I live in East Brunswick. My parents grew up in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Small town. Suburbs. Starbucks open till midnight. Like, what the hell? Come on, San Francisco. All right, guys, let's go over this one. So I'm going to copy this over into a new file. 03 to solution. All right, we'll do the first one. So let me cover this. I'll just put the home route, that's fine. So I'm going to copy this array to the top. And copy array. And copy this route right here. Or I'll put it all here, that's fine. So what's this route going to be called, Val? This is this one.
It's gonna be parameter. It's gonna be semicolon.
ID. Cool. And that's a colon. Just, right? Colon, yeah. Semicolon's the comma. Colon ID. Good. Thing is, I want to make sure, because colon ID isn't good. It isn't good to do this, because then if I was /dogs, let's say I wanted to go to localhost 3000, this would go into here. Anything that I put in, right? If I do this, it's going to go right into this. Yeah, so that's why this isn't good to do, right? I'll just write to do, because all URLs will go to this route. Let me just put this right here. I'll comment this out. The colon ID was good though. That was correct. Just wanted to make sure you're aware. All right, so colon ID. For it, we could prepend it with maybe a word that describes what it's.
I did cats.
Cats. There you go. All right, good. So we could probably maybe finish this in one line. Right. So how do I get access to his ID, Patrick? Rec.what?
Rec dots. ID.
Excellent. Cool. So I'll just test if this works for now, right? I'll make sure it's a string by adding empty quotes to it. Make sure this works. So I'll do node Amon 02, 03, and then we'll go to the URL. Okay, that did not work. Why did that not work? Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot the listen part. So let's go to the bottom, copy that over. Now let's try it. All right, I got 1. If I do 3, it's 3. Good. So it works. But now I need to get the cat, right? So let's do cat names. Like this, and see if this works. Hopefully. All right, it works. right? So we get the records.id, and then we just put it into the array, and we get that particular cat name. Questions? Okay, good. All right, so now let's do the next one. Over here, for the query parameters activity, let's go down, bring this up. Make a route that sends back rec.query.dog. So I'll just do /dog. And right here, just do rec.query.dog. That's it. I'll say /t just so nothing's confusing. The URL though, what's the URL going to be? http://localhost:3000/d. Finish off. What character goes next?
Q.
Q. Question mark. I could put an equal, but before the word, what word do I put here? Because when I go here, I'm sending back rec.query.dog, right? Rec.query.dog. So right now I don't have any query parameters. So I need to send back a dog rover, so it's going to equal what? Rover, right? But before the equal sign, I need to give this a query parameter name. What's the name? Dog. Excellent. Okay, so let's go to this URL. Rover, great. And if I change this to vitamin D, let's take my vitamin D pill. Apparently, I'm deficient in vitamin D. Had a blood test.
So actually, what makes the query parameter different from like a regular parameter is just the query.
Just the word query, and then you don't specify anything here. All right, so it's for flexibility. Also, when you make a form and it's get, it's automatically going to be query parameters, all the data. We'll see that. All the data will be queries when you submit a form that is method equals get. That's the default method for form. And it'll be query parameters, so it's important to know. No problem. All right, good job, guys. So now let's do one. We'll do another one. So let me put all of this stuff in a folder. Let 1 to 03 params query, and we'll make a new folder. Say 04 for now. New file. Body. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to copy over stuff we had over here. Let's get rid of everything for the most part. And now I need to install body parser. So I'm going to go back to where I did this before. I didn't, here we go, post. Body dash parser. Okay, so npm and init dash y. That too. Makes the, yep, makes the package.json. That. Right, so now I'm going to do npm install express and body parser. I think that did it. Clear, not clat. Yep, express, nope. Where are we? We're in 04. Yep, express and body parser, good. Now, I have get body parser. to be integrated with Express. So the way I'm going to do that, so let me just write here, setting up body parser so that we can access rec.body. Okay, so over here, guys, it's hello, and I'm going to make this a post. And this is going to res.json rec.body, and we'll say /it. So post routes cannot be accessed from the browser. They can only be accessed by a form with the method of post. An AJAX query with a method. A curl call with a method of post. Via the terminal. Or a bash script, which we don't cover in this class, but you've been writing bash code for a while. CD space period, that's bash. So we'll test the curl calls with the method of post. So let me just look up, or I don't have to look it up, I think I have it. There we go, because I always forget this. /mit 3000. All right, so normally you would submit, you can test out by having a form with the method of post, but I don't want to go over all of that in one go, right? We'll just go over this one thing first. But if I wanted to hit this from my terminal, I can do this right here, curl-d. D stands for four-letter word, and an A. Data, nice. All right, curl-d is data, and then we're putting data over here. Almost looks like query parameters. Very much looks like query parameters, but the data is like this. And -x means request, and I mean method, and it's post, and this is the route that we're hitting. So we're going to hit this route and pass this data to it. So if I tried to run right now, node 04 is listing on port 3000. So I'm going to go to it right now. Home route. And now if I go to /submit, keep in mind this should not, because it's a post route, cannot get /submit, right? Because it's trying to go to a get request of submit. It's looking for the word get /submit. It doesn't, we have post here. Why would you do this? Because maybe you don't want someone to be able to bookmark URL, right? Because that, if they, for get calls, apps can access from the browser, so someone could bookmark it, or send it to their friend, or actually resubmit something, right? Let's say you submit a question, and then for whatever reason, from the browser, you submitted the question twice, right? And that's annoying. You don't want to deal with things like that, right? So that's why people do post requests, because once you literally not, if you refresh the post request, it wouldn't work because you can't access it in the browser. So you'd have to reform. And that's a much harder thing to do, because going to the forum and clicking submit again, that's like a harder action than hitting Command R. Okay, so if I want to access right here, copy this, go to my terminal, make a new tab. I need this one right. There you go, and this is the response. Right, this is rec.body. So again, Post routes cannot be accessed from the browser. They can only be accessed by a method of post, an AJAX query with a method of post, or a curl call with a method of post. Those are the three ways generally that you can access this route right here. Right? So a big one is like user authentication. If you submit your username and password and you submit it, the method to get, the user will see their password in the URL and it'll freak them out. They'll think, oh my God, you guys have my password. Meanwhile, you don't have their password, but it would freak them out, right? If you do app.post, it won't appear in the URL, right? And it won't freak them out. Yeah, so it's important to use post for when users are signing up to sites because they'll freak out. Trust me, they will. It's happened to me. I also had one of my users rehire user terms and privacy, and sent an email to me and said that they disagreed with a few things, and they asked if I could revise it. And I was like, no. But yeah. Okay, so let me send this to you guys. I want you to play around with it. Oh, why can't I open this? Okay, it's already opened. And then we'll have a little bit, we'll go on break, come back, do forms. There we go. Go ahead, download this, unzip it, go into that folder, run npm install, then do nodemon 04 and play around with the code. That'll give me a thumbs up, Patrick, Eli, when you have it ready. Weird. Nick's in my email.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, for what reason?
Oh, well, he messed up his MSN.
Yeah, I heard about that. Is it just easier for him to like get here on?
Yeah, I think he just missed a lot, but I'm glad he's back in class. I was worried.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Y'all a couple years ago.
What'd you do?
I was
What happened?
playing basketball. I had just finished finals. I had just finished finals. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the gym, and then like within 5 minutes, like non-contact injury from my ACL. This guy, both of them, this guy.
Wait, this happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
So how do you avoid that kind of? What do you do?
Stretch. Like there's ways to like be prepared so your body is not inclined to do the things. Because I like planted my knee and it hyperextended, so backwards, right? So like that, like against the ground and everything just kind of exploded. It was not. Yeah, no. I think,
Dude, what happens is people carry you to the.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I got a ride, but I was carried out of the gym.
I bet. Yeah, that's so painful. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was pretty rough. Out of commission for
Oh my God.
physical therapy for like a year. Before
Jesus
I could,
Christ.
play sports.
A year of physical therapy.
Before I had surgery, I had to do rehab.
Prehab.
I had to do like until I got like the range of motion back and I could like walk again. It was great. And I was like, I'm not actually just gonna go in there and make you redo everything. Which like I don't know. I'm sure there's some medical reason about this there, but so that's the worst.
You know, I don't know how basketball players and football players do this shit. That's good. npm installed. Node on server.js. Another thing you can do with context you can also do internal. Control A is the thing, and then code space. I'm sorry. You do code space the directory, and we'll just open it right into VS Code. That's the one thing I have on VS Code. Everything else, nothing else. All right, I'm gonna timer right now for you guys to go over this, and we'll do one activity. You should have it running in about a minute or two. You have it? Yeah, good. You want to use Nodamon though. Nodamon. Do you have it installed?
What does that do?
It just every time you update the file, it just reloads it, so you can do install it right now. SG stands for global, so you don't ever have to install it again.
And once we run that local, it'll always be running?
Not always, just whenever whenever you do node-based files.
Okay.
So we're just kind of messing with.
Just play around with it, yeah. Try to do a curl call. Yeah, Patrick, try curl call. You just have to open up a new terminal window and copy and paste that.
What's the space in the URL? Like if I wanted to see something like percent or something.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I know /n is a new line. I'm not sure what space is. Let's look it up.
Yeah, it's
Percent 20. You're playing around with it.
Exiting node mon is the same.
Control C. Yep. Did you try the curl project?
I did.
You did?
I gotta, can I get some?
Oh yeah, you can't access it from the browser. What you can do, so you need to have the server running to be able to do this.
I just don't understand, but I'm missing.
So it's running. Okay, so it's already in use. Where's it running? What did that give you?
Yeah, the last exercise.
Okay. So, oh, you're saying the last exercise is running right now? Okay. So, what you can do is kill what's on. So this command right here will look for what's running on port 3000. And this CPID, 8627, and the cache nine. And then you can run and whatever was running on port 3000 going. So now you should be able to, we have this running, the curl call should work. Yeah. So you have to have that run for this call. You're making it work fast.
And the last exercise, I never got to run on it.
You didn't? No, was it 03? 02?
No, the 02.
02?
The one with the dogs and the cats, it never executed. It obviously got.
I'll take a look at it right after this one. Val, do you need a recommendation or anything for your thing?
My project?
For your no, not for your project, for your citizenship thing.
Oh,
Do you need anyone to sign something?
no.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure Alex and I will be glad to sign something.
Oh,
if you need.
okay.
Yeah.
No, right now, this is still like the elementary stages.
Got it.
So just till if I go through this part, then I'll be eligible to get a green card. And then I think it's at that time that I might need a recommendation.
If you need it from me, but be glad to.
Absolutely.
Just wait for Eli to come back, but we have an activity right here. I'm gonna wait for Eli to come back. Eli, there's a new activity. Wait, Patrick, can you just enter for a moment? And I'll just help you with that. So I sent this out in the Slack. You're going to make a server.js file with var dogs at the top. And you're going to make a post route that takes a dog ID from that body and sends back that dog from the dogs array. Right? Test out the curl call. Because you can't test it out in the browser because you can't hit post results in the browser. So this is your activity. And we'll do 10 minutes, 8:25. Then go over it, and long break, and then come back once. Looks like it's already shipped. Control C. Actually, one thing is I think there's just that might be okay for you, but sometimes it takes longer for you to get the folders open. And I think it's due to you having 50 things open. Maybe.
No, I just. How you're gonna have to do it. I have like the steps, so you just don't have it down.
I can be through. Do you want me to walk you through one? Have it. Yeah, I'll walk you through it. Okay, so you're still doing the last activity? The one that was
Right, so I did cat names and cat value. And then did the dogs. Dog.
user. Yeah, just everything. You got one. Is it running? Oh, you see? You control state out of it. To control out the screen and then do see what's inside. Yeah, or one. So do no. And you still go 3,000. And now go to slash. Like that. So slash paths won't work, but you don't have a route called slash paths, but you have a route called slash. So go slash paths slash.
So that's I don't know if there's something wrong with the code or some stuff you missed in the run procedures. But yeah.
What happened? Oh, is it frozen?
Oh, no.
Oh, oh yeah. Am I doing? Yeah. This is fine. Whatever reason's good. Concept everything out.
Also, when you do the policy,
But what do you mean it's not?
so when we change the run.
Oh, do I have to hit save?
I don't know how to make that fun. So.
I'm feeling whatever is running right now is not the real.
Like I'm making changes to the file, it's not running.
Yeah, you're running a file. That was why. That was why I wasn't working. So let's find out what file. Downloads 01, so you're inside downloads. you expect you literally one file. What I would do is a folder and put all your code down in the entire class. That's it. And then I would have that folder open during class, right here. And then I would always open up another folder, the downloads folder. So when I send stuff, you can just drag it right in. And then this entire folder, let's say you have a folder right here. That folder, you have this open, you have this ready, and that folder has this. So there's no reason to you guys are ready. You have these two windows open, so you guys ready files in that folder. And you can do,
What should we do?
if you want to get use multiple. So it's just like 4 fingers
Once you learn React and
or control up,
focus on
and
building,
you have these multiples.
just using the tools.
And
You don't need to learn
you
it.
can rearrange them. if you
You
want
need
to.
to have React.
And then Windows is over here, and a lot of Windows, or just say,
You can build it.
I'll move Spotify.
So from there, it's
Spotify
just
now.
a matter of marketing. So,
And then you just right, left, right. Or you can control left, right.
Yes.
Control up.
The marquee and the views, it's a different issue.
Yeah,
So that's
if
what
you're
I
trying to
suggest.
prepare for interviews,
That's how you
do a lot of
now.
what
Like
about
2 minutes left. Like just done. And we're supposed to go over it.
keep practicing.
No problem.
Sorry.
Doing well?
Yeah, doing good.
That's good.
But we have a questions after.
Yeah, totally. Got it. About a minute left, guys.
No, I wish.
I'll do that there. Oh, you're on one. You're through picker.
We're still deciding on what to do on which topics to do. We're looking at the ones with most opportunity.
Hmm.
Highest ones.
Val, do you guys need 1 more minute? No? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Let's do this. So I'll call this 06. Wait. 06, 5 solution. All right, so what I'm going to do now is copy over the code from 04, make this much easier, right? Almost done. Now, what was that? So make a post route that takes a dog ID from that sends sends back that dog from the dogs array. So I need to copy this array over. We'll keep that one, and I'll call this /dogs, right? And over here, I'm going to take rec.body whatever I call dog ID, right? It doesn't matter what I call it, the rec.body ID, and we'll just see if this works. And I'll do res.send instead, right? So this should send back whatever dog ID that we send to it. So /what? Dogs, good, right? Because the route is /. And over here, what would I send? Not gonna be name. What's the parameter, the body parameter that I'm sending? What's the name of it there? Dog ID. And we'll set it equal to 2. And we'll just see if we get back. If we get back 2, we're good. If we're not, then we need to look at what we did wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's typed clear wrong a bunch of times. All right, so node 06. Looks like I did something wrong. Oh, address already in use. Control C, get out of that one. 06. Great. Listening on port 3000. And now I can paste in that curl URL, the curl call, and I get back 2. Right here. Back 2 right here. So it worked. So now, instead of I want to get that dog, so I'll do dogs bracket that. And this should get me, what should this get me? Which dog? Fred. All right, this should give me Fred. Oh, I didn't node, so I gotta restart. I'll do node him on. Fred. Right there. All right, and if I change this up now to 0, which dog should come up? Rover. Right, so we could change this up and get different dogs now. 4. I've actually never met a dog named Scooby, ever. Cool. Questions on this? Right here. Very similar to the get one, but you can this is in the browser.
So how is it that the send is sending it to the terminal instead of to the URL?
Yeah, because it's going to give back. Res stands for response. So the response will go to wherever it is, right? Whether it's a refer terminal, it'll give it. Good question. Send gives back a string though. Yeah. So let me just zip up this folder, or we'll call this body. Let me send that file. And then we'll go on break, and then we'll go over how to make a form and have it submit to a body, route, right? And a get route. Okay, so we'll go on break. We'll do 15 minutes. So come back at 8:45. So 8:45. I know exactly 15 minutes, but
Where did it start?
it's not open. It's not open. That should be more water anyway. Manny, when's the project day?
26.
26th? Okay, cool. So we have plenty of time.
What I did, Rich. No, definitely think more.
Give me one. You could like, just gonna take a look at the calendar. We're off pink. And the 21st, and I see you guys on the 23rd. And I see you. Okay, we have one more day together, and that's it. Just like support. One more day of support with me.
For the project.
Yeah, today's the 16th, right? Yeah. Saturday there's no class. Monday there's no class. Wednesday we have class,
Yeah.
and then 26 is your presentations.
Are we each going to be doing like an individual?
Each one of you. So are they doing presentations?
It was supposed to be due on Wednesday.
Oh man, can you guys not do presentations? Can you just use fair style?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Your science fair.
Science fair.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Come on.
What's up, Jay?
It's pretty boring.
So you're sure we don't have class on Saturday? Because Alex hasn't responded back.
Okay, assume you do have class on Saturday because it says you do, but my other class doesn't.
According to Alex,
What other class? You mean your Tuesday and Thursday?
Hold on, wait, Maddie, what'd you say?
according to Alex, we're going to try and host an online one
Okay,
for this Saturday for CE's class.
okay.
We were thinking of just extending the full curriculum by 1 more week. So we did lose a lot of days. Well, we lost a week. Terms.
Can you guys let me know what you decided with that? Okay, Jay, just assume you're coming to class on Saturday.
Okay.
There's no class this Saturday.
What?
No class this Saturday.
So wait, what's the verdict?
Check in the Slack channel.
Jay, just wait for Alex.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with this. Did you require them to use handlebars? Can I have them just use EJS?
Yeah.
All right.
They can do whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, we didn't make that a real part of what I know.
You're coming back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
8:35 or 8? What time we come back?
I forgot. 8:45.
Okay.
So you have 8 minutes? My computer's like really screwed up. It just makes all these random noises. Oh, brand new too.
How does that happen?
I mean, it's not my brand new. It's Trilogy's brand new. computer, but I feel bad. I mean, I didn't do anything to it. I should probably tell them and then probably just go to the Apple store. All right, 07, what am I calling this? EGS. Okay. You should watch a show called Future Man. If you want to laugh. Future Man. It's on Hulu. It's about a guy, he plays this video game, and it's basically unbeatable, right? No one can beat it, and he beats it. Turns out he has a training simulation for soldiers. And because he beat it, now soldiers from the future recruit him to be part of their war. But he is no way equipped to deal with the future. Matter of fact, he's a janitor, living at home with his parents, right? So he has no, and his parents are super hippies, and they support every decision he makes. They're like super support, great parents. And the future's really messed up. Yeah, but it's really funny also because there are things that are just like they say things that are horrific, but they make it funny. Like they make the most horrific things funny, and it's crazy how they do it. Even just things that they say passing by, you're like, oh my God, it's the future. That's horrible.
It's a TV show?
It's a show. It's a show. Yeah, it's on Hulu. So good. I love it. Yeah. It's my favorite Hulu show.
I'm pretty sure I can find it on stuff.
Even though I don't have a second, third, or fourth favorite Hulu show. It's my favorite show.
It sounds like an interesting storyline.
I also watch Seinfeld on Hulu. Nice. My girlfriend and I, we're going away this weekend. We haven't taken a vacation since we got here. So we haven't taken a vacation since June 17. Yeah. I mean, that was our vacation, moving. Like, because we had a few days off extra. So we just explored San Francisco. But we actually have done it in California. I've visited Oakland twice, and that was it. Once was for their demo day, and the other time was for a Depeche Mode concert, which was fun.
You guys should check out the Redwood Forest up in Humboldt.
Redwood Forest?
Yeah.
Can you Slack me that?
Really good hike. Yeah, sure.
Because I have a things to do in California file.
Yeah.
That's very long right now, but anything you think I should do in California, just list it and just tell me, and I'll go do it. I feel like I'm wasting my time by not doing anything. It's a beautiful state, and taking advantage of it.
I feel the same way.
Because if I go back to the East Coast, I mean, I don't experience anything in California. I don't know. I think I'll feel stupid.
You can experience how expensive San Francisco could be.
I definitely do experience that.
Man.
Disposable income is that? What do you mean disposable income? 401k, I wish I had that. Am I even use Express EJS layouts? I don't think we do. I don't think I need it. Like when I get home, I'm working, and right after that, I'm gonna watch Future Man. I'm gonna work my ass off, and then
How many seasons is it already?
it's on the second season right now.
How many episodes?
I don't want to even look. Don't want to even look because Rick and Morty was so good.
Yeah.
It was so short.
It is.
It's so short that
I can't wait for season.
I think it progressively got worse.
Yeah.
I think the first season was amazing, and then it just progressively got worse. The last season I felt like was just brutal. It wasn't. I wish there was more thought behind it. Okay, they got a minute left before I start teaching with the room.
Yeah, I just realized sick and stupid, so it's not helping me at all.
Yeah, that's a tough part about doing this course, the sleep deprivation, because if you want to be if you want to perform well, then you need 8 hours of sleep. I mean, end of story. Like, no matter who you are. And the whole Elon Musk thing about, I don't really sleep much. It's like, dude, you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking die. You're gonna fucking die. You can't just work that hard and not sleep. Sleep is so important.
Yeah.
And that's how it does a really bad job of just glorifying, oh, I didn't sleep at all. I just worked all night, dude. It's terrible.
Sleep.
Yeah, you should go to sleep.
Same
You
thing.
should go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking up what our body does when we sleep. It's wild, like everything, right? Cleans up everything. But one thing is your neurons contract, your brain, your spinal fluid releases some fluid, brain, it cleans it up. That's important, probably, right?
For thinking.
Yeah, and I don't think I can just turn that on right now. Can't be like, go do that. So, oh man, my roommate in college, super smart guy, and the one reason I'm talking about this, I'm one of those two. Super smart guy, would sleep 12 to 14 hours a day in college, and he would perform so well. He was genius, just so smart, and I work as a self-driving car engineer. Yeah, cool job. And I mean, I didn't sleep 12 to 14 hours a day, but I should have.
And driving over here, I saw the coolest, freakiest thing. It was a robot.
Wow.
On the other side of King, just a sidewalk. Like it looked like an Apple design rip off. It was like white with a bunch of LEDs, arrays of LEDs. I don't know what it was doing, the fact that it worked, but it was one of those moments where you feel like you're living in the future.
That's funny.
Same thing with self-driving cars.
That's wild. I was watching this video on like overnight shipping, on how it works. Amazing. It's crazy. FedEx, UPS, and now Amazon own airports. They have their own airports, and their airports are much bigger than the commercial airports. They actually take in many more planes than commercial airports. There are more planes in the sky because of UPS and FedEx and Amazon than United. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah, and they have them in strategic locations in the country where they're in the median portion of the country. So they'll have them around Kansas, around there, and they'll have like another one in like Utah or something. Yeah, super interesting. Okay, well, hopefully they come soon. Hey, Al, is Eli on his way?
Yes.
Okay, good.
It was too much time.
Yeah.
Shoot. Like, you
Still raining
ready?
outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
People then just really makes that face. See so many people's umbrellas just get blown apart.
Oh, from the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's insane? There was a company that solved that problem, and their solution was, it sounded silly. It was putting a hole in the umbrella so that the water, so that the air could pass through.
Right.
So they have a hole, and then they have a covering, and then the air goes through, and it goes through another hole. So the rain doesn't get on you, but the wind can pass through. Genius.
The wind doesn't go through the hole.
The rain doesn't go through the hole because it's a hole, and then there's a cloth, and then another hole, and there's cloth underneath it. So then the rain won't pass exactly. I'm sure. I mean, but
Dry off before.
yeah, hopefully. I mean, I had one of those. They were super expensive, right? And I lost both of them. Yeah.
Why don't you just pump a hole umbrella?
I lost both of them.
Here.
I've lost so many umbrellas. So now I just buy the cheap one. I'm like, I'm going to lose the $80 ones.
Yeah.
There's no point in this. I also bought expensive water bottles, and then I broke 4 of them or lost them. So now that's over. Now just the free ones.
Nalgene's don't break. And if you do break it, then I think they
Wait, what is it?
the Nalgene bottles.
Nalgene? Yeah, but I'll lose it.
So like semi-sure.
Okay. What file am I in? I'm in right now. It's body parser. Okay, we actually don't need body parser right there. All right, guys, 3 examples. One with EJS, one with the form and EJS, and then one with the form, EJS, and MySQL together. So 3 examples. Let's put this right here. A parser, good. Copy this. Go over here. Paste this under here. Go to the top. Cut this. Great. All right, so over here, I made a new file called 07 EJS example.js right here. And there's a few packages you kind of need for this to work. You need Express and you need EJS. Just for this, you need Express and EJS. You don't need body parser or MySQL for the 07 example. All right, so for this to work, you need a views folder. And this is where your .ejs files will go. Your .ejs file right here.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, yeah.
You said we don't need body parts, right?
Mhm.
And we're going to do post route. So
For right now, I'm not going to do anything with forms in this one example. in this example, I will use it. I just want to go over EGS because this is what I want you guys using. Yeah. So here, we set up Express, right, on the first instance, and then this is how we integrate EGS with Express. This line right here. We go to app.set and set the view engine to EGS, and then it's integrated. The reason why I like this better bar is there's a lot more configuration, and you're also limited inside the templating, right? Whereas you could just use JavaScript. Anything in JavaScript you can use, essentially, which is powerful. So over here, app.get, and by the way, everything works basically the same as handlebars. The only thing that's different is the configuration. This stays the same. All this, if you wanted to use handlebars, all this would be the same thing, right here. You would change the configuration, and the file names would be .handlebars, and then you would use a different templating language than the handlebars. But here, when I go to localhost 3000, it's going to find the pages folder inside the views folder and look for an index.ejs file. Right, so let me write that down. Looking for /views/pages/x.egs. So inside the views folder, right here in pages, there's index.egs, and it's going to load this file. To load this file, and it looks like a normal file, except for this part right here. This part do. You guys remember? Excellent. So it goes into the partials folder. It goes into this partials folder, right? I mean, currently we're inside the index file right here, right? So the way the dot is we're going up a directory, right? So we're going up to the views folder, and we're going to go into the partials folder, right? And then we're going to go into the footer.egs file. So again, we're inside the index file right here. And we're going to go up a directory into the views folder. Then we're going to go into the partials folder right here. And then we're going to render footer.egs. Looks like this. Copyright Eli and Chris. 2018, wow. So that carried over from the previous year. All right, so let's take a look at this. Notamon 07. Okay, here we go. All right, so if I go over here, localhost 3000, main, this is great, welcome templating, use yes, Eli and Chris, right? If I update the Eli and Chris file, right? So the footer, just because I updated that file, see, this file isn't the isn't the index.egs file, but because that including footer, we're including the footer here, that content goes inside the footer, which is powerful for us. All right, so that was templating. That was an example of templating, right? Which is important for you guys. If you want a footer, if you want navigation, if you want to include the navigation page, you want to use EGS for that. And now we have /about. Go to pages about.js, right? It looks the same right here. And right here we have a part where we're using the footer, the same footer here, right? So if I go to /about, and then right here on the bottom, same footer. Same footer. So we write code once and we do it multiple times, right? So I want you to use this for your project. Okay, for the next route, /contact. So over here, this one's a little bit more complicated, right? So if you want to pass data, to a file, then you have to pass, first you have to say the file name, on a render. Second is the data, right? And the data must go inside a curly bracket. So first argument must be the file that you want to render. Second argument is must be an object. In object, you can pass anything you want. Right, so here I have this object, and so available inside, I'm going to have this key called data. I'm gonna have a key called classroom available to me. So if I go to that data, see that? Right, data. And over here, I'm looping over a key called data. And I'm printing it onto the page. So this is EJS. I start the for loop with these triangle brackets and percentage signs. I'm looping over data. Data is available to me because I sent this data key and string key to pages/contact, essentially. Right? I'm mixing them together. I'm rendering of it. So right here on the bottom, where's it? And then over here in the H2, it says contact percentage equals classroom. Classroom is a key. Right here, it's the value is 603. So it's going to say 603 page, right? So we have access to this key, which is 603. We have access to this array data because of this key right here. So now if I go to /contact, let me see the 3 students, Shireen and Mingming. And we have the footer right here, and we have 603. And yeah, I should plug in, but Val, go ahead, go over the line 23. Yeah, go over line 3 to line 36 while I get my charger out. Good. So you can access it in the browser because it's get.
So it's a get browser. And if you go to /contact.
Yeah, if you go to /contact.
You go to /contacts. It's a render.
It's going to render.
It's going to render that data. That's the data. Data is going to be rendered in the pages. In the pages, that's in the contact EJS pages folder.
Good. Perfect, right? It's going to take this data. It's going to mix it with this file, and then render the result. So let me write that down. All right, so it's going to take the object, the file, right, and the contact.ejs file in the pages views /pages folder, mix them together, and render the result. And then I'll say it more properly, and then give that as the response, and give that HTML as the response. There we go. So that's the proper way of explaining it, right? It's going to take this object, it's going to mix it with this file from views/pages/contact.ejs. That's going to make some HTML, and we're going to give that. Questions on that? Good.
So like EJS, the utility is just kind of being able to links your JavaScript and your HTML. And
basically, mimics your server-side code with some HTML, right? And also templating. The templating and then mixing. This mixing is very powerful also.
So what's the templating part of the object data object?
There's really no templating in this object, right?
Okay.
The templating part is including this footer. So over here, if you see at the bottom column, including this footer,
Okay.
and then we're
have to write it in code.
every file we're including this footer. So if I make a change in this footer file, right, exclamation mark, and then if I go to exclamation mark, I just updated one place and it's updated everywhere. That's it. It's powerful.
So the point of having the separate file for contact with EJS, within EJS, I'm missing that.
Yeah,
What's
if you want separate pages, you want a page for your about, you want a page for maybe a contact form, and you want a main page, right? That would be the benefit. Otherwise, your entire site would be on one page, right? Any other questions? Go, Val.
Please, can you go back to the.
Sure.
So, you said the response, like if you console the log response, is it gonna show any?
No, see, res stands for response. Res stands for response. You could do res.send response, res.json. You could also do res.render. There's 3 ways to give a response. So let me write that. There are 3 ways of giving a response. Res.send, res.json, res.render. Right, there's a request and a response. The user makes a user or some computer makes a request to your server, this file, which is running 3000 here, and then you're going to give a response. Other questions? Okay, so now we're going to add another layer into this. So that was 07. Added this right here. 088. I just added in body parser into this. Add in body parser. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of, well, yeah, I'm going to get rid of everything. I'm going to make this a post route. Page form. And this will be pages res.render. I'll just say res.redirect right here. I guess that's another thing. That's another response, right? It's a redirect. This redirects this one. So over here, or you know what? I'll do res.send. Post was successful. This is stupid. I should rec.body. There we go. All right. So I'm going to make a form now in my pages folder. So I'm going to make a form. So I'm going to call it form.ejs. Right, form.ejs right here. I'm going to just go into my index, copy over. This to not Lisp, but HTML. There we go. And let's call this form. And right here, what I'll do is I'll make a form. Type text. This name is super important, right? So I'll call this question, right? And then over here, I'll put another thing. I'll put placeholder text, write a question. And over here, text. What I'll do is we'll just deal with a question for now, right? That's it. I won't deal with anything else. And then what I'll do is I'll put a button, submit. And over here, I need to have this form go somewhere, right? So I need to give it an action. Slash, you guys remember the URL? It's submit, good, right? Submit. If I go to 08/submit, and it's right. So over here, what I'm gonna do is method equals post, like that. And this data will be submitted. This data will be submitted to app.post/submit. So now let's try it out. All right, we see the form, and we'll just write a question. How many bears are in the US? Right? So this is the data we get back in our post. So now let's just add in one more part. So I'll put type text, or I'll put input type actually number, name, difficulty. Right here. We'll just resubmit this and see what happens. Refresh. Write a question. Okay, well, I should give some placeholder text. What's the difficulty of this coin? Okay, so 5 plus infinity is 2. I mean, that's relative, right? Yeah. So we have and difficulty. So whatever you put in that name attribute is the key in rect.body. Whatever you put inside the name attribute, let me write that down here. Whatever you put inside of the name attribute of the input tag is the key inside of rect.body. And whatever the user types is the value of that key. Good.
So you said that when you're doing a post route,
Mhm.
You can't access that from the browser.
You can't.
You can't.
You
right?
cannot.
You cannot. Then how come we do a submit
Mhm.
on the when we do the form, like on the other side, we click whatever information we put in the form of submit it. Now if you see we go to localhost like submit to post route, how
Mhm.
come we're able to display that on the browser like that?
It'll just show that URL, but you can't go. It'll show the URL and then it'll show the result, but you can't go to it. So if I press enter, you can't go to it. It just shows that as as part of the response. That's it.
So then how did you see it before? No.
Yeah, because I submitted that form, right? I submitted this form, so then that's why you see that URL, and then you see the response, which is rect.body. It's a good question. Good question. We won't be dealing with this anymore. I just did this here for this specific example. What we're going to do is we're going to insert this into the database, right? And then we're going to redirect to the other route and loop over the questions and show them on the page. That's what we're going to do. So now, next part, I'm going to copy over lead here. Wasn't much, but open up 09.
Today's class is going to be
Yeah, I did record it though, so I'll upload it to YouTube. The issue was the recordings were going off, so I need to figure out what's going on with that. I'll probably talk to Alex, Jerome. He's another instructor here. See if he's dealing with the same issues. It's probably my computer though, because I was playing Spotify and it just like growls, not like a dog, but it like scratches really loud or something. It's like, damn it, why? All right, so this is the same deal, same thing, right? I just copied and pasted it. Except here we have MySQL, right? So I know we did this. We made our formula. We made our thing, right? We've made our. So I'm going to copy over schema. And I made a DB folder that we're using right now. All right, so quiz DB. I think I made it. I don't remember. Okay, so show databases. And I did not make it. And I forget what tab. Where was I? Okay, so I could use source and then the file path for so right here I have the file path for my schema file and copy that over here. I can source, paste that, and it just runs all the queries. And I have an error somewhere in my schema. Let's see what error I have. Line 8. No. I don't see anything.
auto increment D not null.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not on the other.
Yeah, so let's try this again. You have an error. Response to your MySQL server version. Right syntax to use near parenthesis at line 8. Comment out. Try again. Huh. Okay, well, let's just do it manually then. Okay, that worked. Okay. Okay, so I made the database inside of it. Let's create this questions. Okay, that worked. Create answers. That worked. User answers won't work because I don't have a users table. So I'm going to need this to work. Okay, that worked. And let's copy this over. Oh, well, this was the one that wasn't working. Interesting. So what's wrong with this one? You see anything? I don't see anything. Anyone else see anything? I really don't see anything. This is line 8. What the hell? References. Here, you know what? I'm going to just comment this one out because we don't need it for this example. And I'm going to just go over this. I'll just put the error here so that you guys have it. But sorry. So we have that data, we have that table, and I just have to back to it, quiz_db. So you have to put the database name in. And I am using the MySQL package right now, along with body parser and Express and EJS. Right. So this is the common error I've seen on people's computers is people put in port 3000. It's wrong because you can only run one thing on port 3000. This file. You still MySQL to run on something else. MySQL is running on port 3306. Remember, one thing runs on one port, right? So MySQL is going to run on a different port, and Express is going to run on a different port. Okay, so we have that form, and it's submitting here. So what we can do instead of just sending back the JSON of the rec.body is we could actually insert into our database. So let me find where we do that. Previously, perfect. All right. All right, so I'm going to insert into questions, right? And in our schema, let's take a look at this. We'll have question. Oh, look, question and difficulty. Perfect, right? So question and difficulty are the names of the columns here, right? So actually, that makes it a lot easier because actually maybe not that easier, but that's fine. Question into questions, question, comma, difficulty. So I put the column names right here. Question, comma, difficulty. The table name, insert into the questions table, into the question difficulty column. I'm not going to put the ID in there because the ID is going to be figured out with automation. I don't need to put the ID in. MySQL will figure out the ID for me. MySQL will figure out the ID for me. So I'm going to take in question from the body, and this will go into the question mark, into the question column. And then I'm going to do rec.body.difficulty. That's going to go into the difficulty column right here. And then that's going to redirect the user to the home route after. So let's try this out. Okay, so star from questions. Nothing in there yet. And now let's go into Nodamon 09. All right, so I have the form, right? And let's write a question. So 1 plus 3. We'll say 1 for difficulty. Submit. It redirected us back to the home route. And now let's check MySQL. It's right there in our database. But now let's show on the page. So to be able to show all the questions, do a SQL query. Right. So the SQL query is going to be much easier than this. Right here. So how do I select all the questions, Patrick, from database? Well,
Select star
excellent.
from questions.
Perfect. All right, and then I'm going to get all the data back in results right here. So what I'm going to do, the second argument, what data type does it have to be in res.render? What's the second argument? Has to be, yeah, curly brackets. Has to be an object, right? Right? Has to be an object. And I would say colon results right here. And then we can loop in the form just like we had in the contact. I can take a look at the contact. I'm going to delete this for a second. I'm going to copy this over. And it's not going to data ID, it's going to be data.question. And difficulty, right? The 3 columns. Now we take a look at 3000. So I can make it look better. If I wanted to, let's do question. Let's say ID. Question. Over here, difficulty. It still looks horrible, but we'll write another one. 5 plus 3, still 1. Right, we'll do 9 times 9, so difficulty 2. Right? This doesn't handle all the answers, but it handles the questions right now and it displays them onto the page. So let me send you guys everything that I have right now. I want you to put it on your computer and ask me more questions before you leave.
That's the way you want us to be putting together.
Yeah, I mean, doing it like this would be ideal for me. Yeah, if you can pull it off with here. So 07 through some forms, EGS, forms, and MySQL. I'll just send you all the code I have. And I need to send you without the node modules. Sometimes node modules are like a gigabyte. Okay. Okay, send this over. Yeah, so Patrick, I would love for you to organize your code like this. So I have one folder with basically every, like each I make a new folder. I name it. I name it really well. I could have done a better job naming the folders here inside also. I would have done a better job of that so I can be quicker, but it's okay. Yeah, like I guess what I would do is probably rename this review to what we did, and then rename these to very specific. So I could. The idea is if I want to look for something, I can jump really quickly and find it. Like it took me like maybe sometimes under a minute or under 30 seconds to find a file. Jay, you could screen too if you have a question, by the way. I'll stop sharing. You could share your screen if you want to.
I don't have a question for the EGS, but I was wondering if we could somehow between now and the day of the presentation that we could fit in maybe ORM and MVC.
ORM and MVC?
Yeah.
Sure. So you guys didn't learn. The thing is,
We did it for the homework, so I
no,
did
no,
it for the homework.
absolutely. Here's the thing, though.
Because I think that was one of the requirements.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Yeah, so I think that's wrong. I mean, I don't want you guys doing the ORM because I don't. It's not really what you do in the real world. But when we get a little bit further, we'll use a real ORM.
Okay, so that would be after the presentation.
Yeah, that would be after the presentation. Yeah,
So
I think what you guys should do is, and Manny agrees with it, and I'm sure Safe would too, right? It's
okay.
basically just do straight SQL queries. Write your SQL queries just like you normally would. That like we did in class, and people do that in real life. The ORM that you guys used in the course, it's fine for for learning, but it's not something you would use in the world. I know because I wrote it. I wrote that ORM. The ORM that you guys are using in the curriculum. I was wrong, but it was like 2.5 years ago.
All right. So if we're using EGS, then our file structure or our directory structure should just look like your standard EGS.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're using handlebars, it would look the same thing too.
Okay.
It would look the same way if you use handlebars.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and Manny's in complete agreement that you guys don't use the ORM file. Chris is happy. Cool. So, okay, guys, what I'll do is I'm not going to be here on I don't know what that was, but it's gone. So I don't know what it was. But what's a good due date for? Okay, let's define the next step, because before I define the next step was the schema file, right? The schema file coming with your questions. By now, you should have your questions and your answers down. If you don't, then immediately work on your questions and your answers, right? The next step is work on your schema. I think you guys did. I mean, we kind of built it together. Besides that one part that was broken, everything else was. I think I renamed it. Yeah, I renamed it. That's why. But let's come up with something else that you should do. Next steps. Hey, Jay, I'm just going to mute you real quick. Okay, so next steps. 1, get all your questions into the database. 2, get all your answers into the database. 3, display your questions on the page, right, from MySQL. I'm going to send this to you guys also. 4, display the answers under the respective questions. 5, turn the answers into a form, right? See, like all of this stuff is going to have to go into, like, all of this stuff right here is going to be in the for loops. So it's going to be a little complex for loop, but you guys can do it. I'm positive you can do it. You might have to do a left join or something into a form. 6, don't worry about try not to worry about user authentication. 6, what I would do is when the user submits, turn the entire quiz into a form. When the user, also add an input for the user's name. Right? So you could stray away from this next steps if you're going to do user authentication, I mean having a login system, then this won't exactly be the same way because you won't need to do step 6. So I would say only if you are not using user auth. Because I went over user authentication, but not with the forms and everything, right? So I did go over it. It's in here. There's actually, what was it? Authentication-rest, a section right here that goes over it. But these are the next steps. When do you think an appropriate date for this to be due on is?
Just for these steps?
For these steps right here.
Wednesday. I mean, that's our
This
next
coming Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to have class for a week.
Yeah, I know.
That is the only day we're meeting anyways.
Yeah, the only issue is yeah, you're right. Wednesday. Done. Yeah. Okay. All right, let me send this over to you guys. And then on that day, I expect you guys to have this done now. I expect it to be done on your computers, or at least you put in a ton of effort on it, right? Because what I want to do on Wednesday is just give you feedback and then kind of piece together user authentication into it. Okay, let me send this file over. And then after Wednesday, you guys are going to be putting in your high scores into it, which we didn't go over. That's going to be all you guys, the high scores table. Okay. Cool. If you guys want to work on this for the next 10 minutes or something, I'll be happy to stay and help.
So I wasn't here on Monday.
On Monday.
Yeah, I was wondering
Monday's class was right here, all the code.
Yeah.
In 12 review. We kind of did it. We did a quiz, and then we did the schema. We did this whole thing together.
So, the quiz, I know you said we can do our own individual things. So can one do a multiple choice? Is that how it's going to be?
Yeah, multiple choice is the best way to
You
go.
have a question, and then you put the multiple choices.
Multiple choice is the best way to go. The issue with not having multiple choice or having a mix is the database schema gets a little bit more complicated. Right? So the schema will get more complicated. Just stick with multiple choice for now. Get the whole thing working, and then you can put in different types of questions, different question types. Right? Because you could do fill in the blanks. You could do that. I don't really know what other types of questions there are. There's essays, but we can't grade your essay. Your multiple choice. I mean, you could turn a multiple choice into true and false. Just have 2 options. That's it. True, false. Yeah, make it fun. Make it fun. Have fun with it. Because a lot of times what people do is they'll, try to beat your quiz and have a high score or something. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to Slack